What his team is trying to do is get the public to assume that the government is leaking some of this negative information about him, like that Cassie video. But the reality is, he's got a lot of enemies.
This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Imagine this. The once glamorous, larger-than-life mogul, Diddy, sits in a packed courtroom, his head slightly bowed. His demeanor is a far cry from the confident, untouchable figure we've seen grace countless red carpets. The man who built an empire on music and luxury now stands at the center of one of the most shocking scandals in recent memory. But the real headline isn't just about him. It's about the emotional reckoning of his daughters, Delilah, Chance, and Jessie. After years of silence, they have finally found their voices in the most dramatic way possible. The courtroom, a place none of them would have ever chosen as their stage, became the setting for their long-buried pain to erupt, raw, undeniable, and impossible to ignore.
A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
The tension in the courtroom was palpable. Lawyers shuffled papers, reporters whispered hurried updates into their phones, and the gallery was packed with curious onlookers, all straining to catch a glimpse of the fallen mogul. This wasn't just another celebrity trial, it was a spectacle. Diddy, once the embodiment of excess, confidence, and power, now looked like a shadow of his former self. Gone were the designer suits and effortless swagger. In their place, a plain, standard-issue jumpsuit. His face, once a mask of charm and bravado, was now lined with exhaustion and worry. He sat silently, shoulders hunched, as though the weight of his own choices was finally pressing down on him. But as shocking as his transformation was, it was nothing compared to the emotional breakdown of his daughters. For years, Delilah, Chance, and Jessie had remained in the background, far from the public eye, unlike their brothers, Justin and Christian, who often basked in the glow of their father's spotlight. Their quiet existence had long been a mystery, but now, the painful truth was laid bare. Their voices trembled, their tears fell, and their emotions spilled over, turning the courtroom into a stage of raw, unfiltered heartbreak. This wasn't just about legal battles or scandalous allegations. It was about years of buried pain, long-held secrets, and the suffocating reality of growing up in the shadow of their father's empire.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
The absence of Diddy's daughters at his side during the hearing spoke volumes. While Justin and Christian sat stoically near their father, whether out of loyalty or fear of the consequences of distancing themselves, Delilah, Chance, and Jessie were nowhere to be seen. Their decision to stay away wasn't just logistical, it was a statement, a silent scream of defiance. Rumors swirled that the daughters were considering filing for legal emancipation, a drastic move that would sever their ties to the man who had shaped so much of their lives. The mere possibility of emancipation only heightened the already electric atmosphere in the courtroom. It wouldn't just be a legal maneuver. It would be a symbolic rejection, a declaration that they no longer wanted to be tethered to a legacy that felt suffocating. As the hearing progressed, an inevitable name surfaced: Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner, the mother of his children, and the one person whose presence loomed over the proceedings like a ghost. Kim's sudden and tragic passing in 2018 had been ruled as complications from lobar pneumonia, but the circumstances surrounding her death had always been met with skepticism. Over the years, whispers of foul play, cover-ups, and hidden truths had only grown louder. Now, in this packed courtroom, those whispers had turned into roars, amplified by the daughter's raw, emotional outpouring and the weight of new allegations. The trial was no longer just about legal charges. It had become a reckoning, a moment of truth too powerful to ignore.
Well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children,
right,
has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
Kim's death was, in many ways, the breaking point for her daughters. They had been close to their mother, finding in her a source of warmth and stability that often felt absent in their father. Losing her was devastating, but the lingering questions surrounding her final days made the grief even harder to bear. Official reports described mild symptoms in the days leading up to her passing, nothing that would have suggested such a rapid and shocking decline. Just days before, Kim had reportedly been in good spirits, even undergoing a routine medical checkup that revealed no serious health concerns. Yet, within a week, she was gone, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a family shattered by loss. Adding to the mystery was the disappearance of Kim's personal belongings, her laptop and cell phone, items that likely contained personal notes, photos, and details about her life. They vanished without explanation. It wasn't just a logistical oversight, it was a red flag, a chilling indication that someone might have been trying to erase evidence, to bury the truth of what really happened to her. Her daughters, who had spent their lives witnessing the complexities of their parents' relationship, were left to wonder, was their mother's death truly natural, as it had been claimed, or was it the result of something far more sinister?
You know what I'm saying? Just with this Cassie thing, I didn't know her, but I knew somebody like her, and that was Kim Porter. I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter.
Adding fuel to the fire was a leaked memoir allegedly written by Kim before her untimely passing. While the document's authenticity remained a topic of heated debate, its contents were nothing short of explosive. In it, Kim reportedly detailed years of emotional manipulation, control, and, at times, outright hostility from Diddy. The memoir painted a stark contrast to the glamorous image of their relationship, revealing a world behind closed doors that was far darker than the one presented to the public. It spoke of a man whose charm and charisma masked a far more complex and troubling reality. Whether the memoir was genuine or not, its very existence was enough to reignite long-standing suspicions and cast an ominous shadow over the courtroom proceedings.
And it's like, it was the same thing Kim was going through. The same thing, bro. Kim was going through the same thing. The beatings, you know what I'm saying?
The tension in the courtroom was palpable. Lawyers shuffled papers, reporters whispered hurried updates into their phones, and curious onlookers craned their necks to catch a glimpse of the fallen mogul. This wasn't just another celebrity trial. It was a spectacle. Once known for his extravagant parties, luxurious lifestyle, and unshakable confidence, Diddy now appeared unrecognizable. The tailored suits were gone, replaced by a standard-issue jumpsuit. The charm and bravado that once defined him had faded, leaving behind a man weighed down by his own decisions. Shoulders hunched, he sat in silence as the proceedings unfolded around him. But if his transformation was shocking, the emotional breakdown of his daughters was utterly gut-wrenching. For years, Delilah, Chance, and Jesse had remained largely out of the public eye, a stark contrast to their brothers, Justin and Christian, who had often basked in their father's spotlight. The daughters' decision to distance themselves from their father spoke volumes. Their absence from his side in the courtroom wasn't just a logistical choice, it was a statement. Whispers swelled that they were considering filing for legal emancipation, a drastic move that would sever their ties to the man who had shaped so much of their lives. If true, it wasn't just a legal maneuver. It was a rejection of the empire their father had built and a declaration that they would no longer remain silent. As the hearing progressed, the conversation inevitably turned to Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of his children. Her sudden and tragic passing in 2018, officially ruled as a result of pneumonia, had always raised questions. She had reportedly been in good spirits just days before, even undergoing a routine medical checkup that revealed no major concerns. And yet, within a week, she was gone, leaving behind a family fractured by grief and a trail of unanswered questions. Adding to the mystery was the disappearance of Kim's personal belongings, her laptop and cell phone, items that undoubtedly contained personal notes, photos, and crucial details about her final days. Their unexplained absence wasn't just a logistical inconvenience, it was a glaring red flag. Were they taken to erase evidence? To bury the truth of what really happened? Fueling the fire was a leaked memoir allegedly written by Kim before her untimely passing. While its authenticity remained a topic of heated debate, the contents were explosive. The memoir painted a portrait of a relationship filled with emotional manipulation, control, and even hostility. It described a man whose public persona was a stark contrast to the reality behind closed doors. Whether or not the memoir was genuine, its very existence reignited suspicions, casting an even darker shadow over the courtroom proceedings. For the daughters, this memoir and the unresolved questions surrounding their mother's death were the final straws. They had spent their lives caught in the crossfire of their parents' tumultuous relationship, witnessing dynamics no child should have to endure. Growing up in luxury may have seemed enviable to outsiders, but for them, it came at a steep emotional cost. Their courtroom breakdown wasn't just about the current legal battle. It was about a lifetime of suppressed pain, confusion, and heartbreak finally bubbling to the surface. Meanwhile, Justin and Christian's decision to sit by their father's side raised its own set of questions. Was their presence a show of loyalty, or were they simply playing their roles in a family dynamic that demanded unwavering allegiance? The contrast between the sons and daughters highlighted the deep divisions within the Combs family, divisions that had now been laid bare for the world to see. As the trial continued, the whispers of hidden truths grew louder. Rumors swirled about a mysterious flash drive Kim had allegedly left behind, one containing damning evidence, notes, recordings, and even videos that could shed light on the darker corners of her relationship with Diddy. While its existence remained unverified, the mere possibility of such a revelation sent shockwaves through the industry. And then there was the leaked phone call, a cryptic conversation between Diddy and his son, Justin. On the surface, it seemed mundane, but to those familiar with the whispers surrounding Diddy's private life, one phrase stood out: pizza boxes. Insiders claimed it was a thinly veiled code, referring to incriminating items allegedly hidden in one of his Miami properties. Was Diddy scrambling to erase evidence before authorities could uncover it? The urgency in his voice suggested he knew exactly what was at stake. Federal investigators soon uncovered more than anyone had anticipated. During a raid on one of Diddy's properties, they found stacks of receipts, handwritten notes, and a collection of video recordings prosecutors described as compelling evidence. But perhaps the most chilling discovery was a stash of items seemingly tailored for manipulation, tools that could easily be used for control, intimidation, or worse. Diddy's legal team has pushed back aggressively, claiming the search warrants were flawed and the raids illegal. Their goal? To discredit the prosecution and suppress as much evidence as possible. But for many watching the case unfold, these arguments felt like distractions, an attempt to shift focus away from the growing pile of damning allegations. As more details emerged, attention turned to Diddy's inner circle, a tight-knit group of advisors, employees, and associates. Some were now being implicated as enablers, accused of either facilitating misconduct or turning a blind eye. Were they acting out of loyalty, fear, or greed? And how much did they truly know? For Diddy's daughters, this trial is about more than just legal battles. It's about reclaiming their narrative. By breaking their silence, they've taken a stand, refusing to be pawns in a story they never asked to be part of. Their decision to potentially seek emancipation speaks volumes about their disillusionment and the depth of their pain. Meanwhile, Justin and Christian find themselves in an increasingly precarious position. Their presence at their father's side has sparked both admiration and criticism. Are they standing by him out of love, or are they simply trying to protect their own futures? After all, they too have benefited from the empire their father built, and now they stand to lose it all. As the courtroom drama continues to unfold, it's clear that this is more than just a trial, it's a reckoning. A man once revered and idolized now finds himself vulnerable, his carefully curated image cracking under the weight of scrutiny. And as new revelations surface, the world watches, waiting for the truth to finally emerge. Will justice be served, or will the tangled web of secrets prove too difficult to unravel? The answer, it seems, is just around the corner.